Welcome, everyone, to Did That Age Well Block Party Edition. Let's freaking go! Today, I'm so excited to have a guest, former Denverite. Sadly, he's living that Silver Lake lifestyle where there are what did you call it? It was
a thrift crawl.
A thrift crawl on the bike lanes where one might just want to ride one's bike to the gym for the pleasure and joy of it. LA is overrated, and why did you move there?
I'm trying to do acting stuff. I'm trying to be in the reboot of Blank Check.
Okay, so you're trying to advance your career, which is, I guess, understable.
Noble. So. I thought you were gonna say noble. I was like, please say noble.
Please say no. Please, for the love of God, would you tell me you're proud of me? Dad, will you tell me you're proud of me? Well, BK, welcome to the pod. I'm so glad to have you.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah, I want to know. What made you choose the movie Blank Check to discuss today.
As you can tell, I'm a fan.
A big fan.
Blank Check is also Nick. Will you shoot that story again? Now that I'm relaxed sitting, I was sitting so crazy before. Blank Check. So it has I don't know why. It has a soft spot in my heart.
Yeah,
so
that's sweet.
When I first watched it, so I'm from the East Coast, and we had a grocery store called ShopRite.
Okay.
And ShopRite, they had a daycare kind of thing.
Okay.
Which is
where you drop your kid when you go grocery shopping?
Yes. So your kid hangs out there. There's
cool.
Someone watching your kid. You can play video games. They'll have a movie.
Okay.
And they had Blank Check, and I saw the first 10 minutes of it. Maybe 15 or something like that.
The sad part with just a child being bullied at home and at school and out in life, and you're things have got to turn around for this kid.
Yeah.
What's around the corner?
And I really was I like this premise of this kid getting this blank check, all this shit.
Yeah,
and
totally.
I was always I need to watch this movie someday.
Yeah.
And then I somehow later, I think, rented it at Blockbuster.
Yeah.
And then I watched it. And looking back, I was what did I like about it? And it was I think I just want stuff and money.
Yeah, totally.
And at the time, my family was very poor.
Yeah.
And so I was oh, cool, I could have stuff and money.
You're it's that easy.
Yeah.
Someone write me a blank check, and I too will have a little go-kart race track in front of my house.
Yeah, every kid wants to do
that?
money fraud.
And honestly, they should.
Yeah.
They should.
I agree.
Especially if they're bullied by their friends and family.
Bullied by the dad and what's your format? Do you give a
basically this.
Okay, cool. So we just get into it. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
So the dad he was bullying his son for no reason.
For no reason.
And it
other
makes
than he's the youngest one. He's too bad.
Yeah, because he has his own room,
Uh-huh.
and then the dad comes in with a computer.
Yeah.
Which at first I'm oh, it's nice. You got him a computer, and then he's this is for your brother's business.
Yeah, and also
what's the
we
business?
never really understood what the business was. They're hand and foot, and then they had a little handshake for it. And
wait, it was called hand and foot?
Yeah, which is the name of an illness, right? Hand and that's hand and mouth. What's it?
You're thinking of hoof and mouth. Yeah, it's a cow. It's
no, not the cow one. The one that babies get a lot at the
foot
time.
And
it's
mouth?
hand, foot, and mouth or something. Head, shoulders, knees, and toes. Anyway, this family is rotted.
Yeah.
This family is rotted.
And the dad's a creep because he installs the computer, and then I remember he goes, teach you everything except how to make love to a woman. Do you remember that?
Yes.
I saw that quote. I was this fucking... I wrote that quote down.
And then his wife says, maybe you could learn a thing or two in front of their children.
Yeah.
This woman has not been dicked down since probably their wedding night. Actually, I guess they have 3 kids, I guess. But you know that it has not been good. When there is a scene, which will, of course, will address the weird sort of pedophilia of it all.
Uh-huh.
There's a scene where little Preston tells his dad that Macintosh is going on a date with a woman. He's oh yeah, he might be out late. And he goes, lucky dog, right in front of his wife.
Yeah.
That was rotted.
It was really weird. I remember that, I really remember that, I'm Jesus Christ, relax. Because also, that the kid knows, he's my dad loves to fuck.
Yeah.
He will love this sex joke.
Yeah, he will love this.
He's no, Dad, you can't. He's going to be out late.
He's going to be out
Fuck
late.
it.
You know.
It's fucking crazy. Yeah,
Yeah.
Then it was also weird. He makes him go to the birthday party.
Yes.
With no money.
Yeah.
And he has to just watch his friends have fun and play, which was...
And they are not his friends. These kids hate him.
Yeah, which also I was like, why did he go?
Right.
And then what was interesting is that the next scene, they're at breakfast and the brothers are leaving.
Yeah.
And the dad is like, you guys need cash?
I know.
And I was like, you had money this whole time?
But then they do that thing that they always do in 1990s Disney movies where they're like, well, you know, we're not rich, but like they are.
Well, so that's what's interesting too about the economy in this time.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember what the dad does for work. He does like some weird proposals or something.
Yeah.
But like,
he's writing a prospectus. He's trying to put together, I don't know. He seems like he's trying to foster entrepreneurship in his home, but
Yeah.
I don't think that it's really working.
he really instills the heart of capitalism, like for the kid, like, well, just one kid in particular.
For really
and he's
just
like,
one.
you're gonna really learn about capitalism and how shitty it is.
Yeah.
And then also because I remember, so the mansion that they were bidding for,
Yeah.
was $200,000.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And I like was standing up. I was like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? Like that house, like
Yeah.
$200,000. Yeah, a castle.
A castle.
That would be like my
Yeah.
dream house. Did they ever say what city it's in?
No, it looks kind of like. Oh, maybe they did say.
Because it's beautiful. Like when you go to the park.
Yeah, it looks like a really nice kind of. I think that we're supposed to believe this is like middle America
Sure.
city. You know,
Sure.
maybe we're in the suburbs of Chicago or like Dallas or something.
Sure,
you know,
sure,
that's
sure,
kind
sure.
of what it seemed to me. But I need to know what would be your first stupid big purchase if you came into $1 million through money fraud.
Probably animal shelter.
You would buy an animal shelter?
Yeah,
or you
and
would
I'll
give
just
it
let
to
them all
the-
go.
It's
Yeah.
like the buy the zoo and let all the animals out, but this is just like you're
Kinda-
letting dogs loose into the street.
Yeah, I mean, because I have a really, I don't know if it's a hot take, but
Okay.
I think animal shelters are bad.
Okay.
Like in the sense of not that, like, you know, they help out or whatever in a lot of ways, but I feel like this whole thing of like, hey, you got to come get this dog or we're going to kill it is kind of like weird.
It's a little bit yeah, it's sort of like, well, no one's holding a gun to your head saying that you have to
Yeah, they just
kill
like
this
do it for
animal,
fun
you know?
or whatever. And it's like, hey, why don't you just let the dogs go as a third option?
Go where? Where are they
Anywhere.
gonna go?
Like, it just, like, so other countries do the thing where they tag the dogs and they
Yeah.
give them, like, rabies vaccines and, like, all that
Yeah.
kind of shit. But it is just truly just, I'm like, why is the option rescue this dog or we have to kill this dog?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like you need a third option. So I feel
You
like I'd
need-
buy some shelters.
Okay, cool. And then
Do
just
something-
say, you guys figure it out.
Or I'd keep them all. Like, I'd have, like,
Sure,
a like a
small
big
zoo.
property,
What
like a
would you-
farmland.
You could just buy the shelter and just like live there as your house too.
No, but a shelter is bad. Like, it's not a fun place to be.
So
like-
you want to bring the animals to the ranch
Yeah.
essentially. Okay.
What else would I do? $1 million. So are we talking $1 million in today's economy or back then?
We're talking
where I
in
can
today's
get a house
economy.
for
We are-
$200,000.
We are talking in
Well, I think you have to include inflation then. How much
that's what
money
I'm
is
saying.
it now?
Like I think it would probably, I don't know,
like 10 mil?
$18 million. I don't know what
Yeah.
it would be. But I think that when I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking like not even a real amount like $1 million.
Sure.
Like in this movie, it is clear, and they do spell it out that $1 million only gets you so far. If you spend all of it, it's easy to spend
Yeah.
quickly. But
It's kind of crazy because that party ended up being like $100,000 or something
Yeah,
like that,
yeah.
which didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Because the house being $200,000, like, they really
Yeah.
should. I don't know. Their budget, their fake budget. Also,
Yeah.
the fake money looked so weird.
I
And it was
know.
all in 5s and 10s.
Yeah.
And I was like, don't you have fake money? Like, I don't
Yeah.
understand why they didn't use hundreds. I was like looking because he's pulling
Who
out
was in the
stacks
prop
of like
department?
5s and
Yeah.
10s, and I was like, what is? That's
Yeah.
like $40.
Yeah,
That
and
he's
like
yeah.
there is no way that small suitcase, that little briefcase, was big enough to hold $1 million in some 5s and 10s.
I know that for sure because I've been watching a lot of Deal or No Deal.
Absolutely.
And they had an episode where they straight up bring out like I was watching it and like have you watched Deal or No Deal?
I have. I watched it a lot when it was like kind of at its peak.
Yeah,
You
same.
know?
Same.
Yeah.
With Howie Mandel
Mhm.
and like so they had a episode where they're doing $3 million
Uh-huh.
as like the winning.
Yeah.
And the guy has this suitcase and the banker or whatever is making this guy
Mhm.
insane deals like what about $600,000? Come on, man.
Mhm.
And I was like that $3 million is in that suitcase. I can tell because they're tempting this man so hard.
They do not want him to get it.
They do not want him to get it. But so they come out with 2 suitcases with $400,000.
Oh my God.
And it was 2 suitcases. So that's how when I was watching Blank Check, I was like, no.
Nah, wouldn't work.
One suitcase,
they needed 2 suitcases on Deal or No Deal. There's no way that
for $400,000. And that was all in hundreds.
Yeah.
And this one's in 5s and $2 bills.
This is in like spare change.
Yeah. It was weird. And then also the lawyer or the banker snitched on him or whatever.
Absolutely.
Did they ever say what the villain's crimes were?
They did. I think we can assume that it was theft or money laundering of some kind because we know that he stole $1 million somehow. So I'm guessing that he probably got caught for some money laundering schemes, but not all of them or something like that. I don't know, but it could be a curveball. Maybe he's really into white collar crime and I don't know, arson or something like that.
It's interesting because they do have to. It's a 90-minute movie.
Yeah.
So they have to really set up a lot of stuff. That's why all the dad stuff seems clunky. Because they had to really make you hate him, but then also be able to turn around to love him later. Yeah. In a weird way.
Very weird way.
And then same with the villain. It's he's like, you think I stole all this money? And you're like, oh, he stole it.
Yeah, he stole it.
And so that's how you. And then you're like, don't feel bad for him.
Right. You can't feel bad that this kid also stole. It's he's at least 2 degrees of separation away from whoever's money this actually is.
Yeah.
You know? Can we talk about the banker for a second?
Yeah, Biederman.
Okay, so poor
show?
guy, he they don't really go into his backstory. There he is right there.
Yeah,
they don't go into his backstory a lot, but they do let us know that he's betting on the racetracks, and that's kind of how he's gotten himself into this
mob
shit. Yeah. And one of the things I think in this movie that doesn't really age that well, but is also not that surprising for 1990s, is the only fat Jewish person is the baker.
So you're saying Blank Check is anti-Semitic?
I'm not saying it.
Sure. Interesting.
But I mean the weird little ragtag crew of the villain, his buddy Big Juice, and
the sex pest,
and the banker. Yeah. I'm these 3 are so hopeless and incompetent, and I kind of like that in in my 90s era movies about adults who are bad. I want them to be kind of goofy, silly, easily manipulated, and not very good in the face of hijinks and stuff, Yeah.
Can we talk about the violence too, where the levels of violence are crazy because there's, the kid gets hit, but his bike gets hit.
Yeah.
And later, what's that kid who, the little shit kid? His birthday was?
His name is Butch.
But yeah.
Yeah.
And so in the beginning, he's mean to Preston. Later, when his bike gets run over, the kid is like, I saw you hit him. Maybe for $200, I didn't, and starts extorting him.
Yeah.
And then later, the villain hangs him off the side of a building.
Yeah.
Threatening to drop him off.
And he would have.
And I kind of my chest tightened. I was like, whoa, this is accelerated.
Yeah. And also then later in the movie, when the villain played dead in the pool.
Yeah.
I, for a moment, I hadn't seen this movie in at least 20 years. I was like, did that guy die? I thought maybe for a minute. The villain, when he was playing dead in the pool.
Yeah.
I was like, did he drown? Did he actually die? They had me fooled for a minute.
I thought he was going to die because he was in that cage.
Yeah.
Which he dropped into the pool. And, which that's also interesting because you have to have let's say there's an action movie. You have to have a fight coordinator, a choreographer for a fight.
Yeah.
So whoever did that one was kind of lazy.
A little bit.
And they're just okay, so he's in the ball, and then he drives a car into it because you have to integrate all the fun toys and stuff in the budget. And then he's then the ball lands in the water. It's but what if he drowns? No. It'll open somehow.
Somehow.
And then he will be okay.
Yeah.
And then
so
he'll fake
not
that
to
he's
worry.
drowned.
It's just that fake thing that you do at the pool for attention, maybe from the lifeguard, where you're like, I drowned. What would anyone do if I drowned?
Yeah.
You know? And I guess Preston was a little bit too much of a softie. He was a little bit too weak, a little bit too soft. But ultimately, he does make it out alive because this 11-year-old is definitely a lot smarter than these 3 grown men. Another thing that was so horrific about the bike accident is that when Preston comes home, his parents are mad at him
Yeah.
for having almost gotten run over and killed.
Yeah.
They were like, you need to take better care of your property. This family is instilling the capitalism in their home very well, teaching him that you actually don't matter, but your stuff sure does.
Yeah, because they did a bad job of making it seem like the dad was struggling with money.
Right.
And made it seem like the dad was just cheap, like as a mental illness.
Exactly.
Like to a fault.
Yeah,
Where
but
just,
only
like, the dad
as
could give him stuff.
Yeah, but and like he'll give the older brothers money,
Yeah.
but it's like this it only applies to Preston.
Yeah, like it
Yeah.
really makes you like he treats Preston like he's not his biological son.
I know,
like, the
I
whole
was
time.
just gonna
like,
say
I never
he's giving
wanted
evil
you.
stepmother.
100%.
Yeah,
It's really because
100%.
when he offers to give the brothers money, I was just like, oh, so he has money.
Right.
Because the brothers have this job.
Yeah,
So why do
whatever
they
it
need
is.
money?
Yeah.
And then literally it's like they're leaving like, we're good, Dad. We have money. And then then the grandma gives a blank check, which sets like the precedent of how he learns about blank checks.
Right.
And like, which was also kind of sad because she's got dementia and just
Totally.
forgot.
So sad. I also, you know what I loved though, is that they said the name of the movie in the first 5 minutes. That's one of
Yeah.
my favorite things about like Disney
Yeah.
movies like this. And they're like, it's what? A blank check.
Yeah. When I was watching it, I did that. I was like, oh, they said the name of the movie.
Yeah, and then later when he discovers like, oh, I could use this blank check
Yeah.
to get money on my own too, he goes, oh, blank check. He's putting the pieces together.
I will say, all in all, it's a really good premise for a movie.
It
Like, I
is.
think like the actual premise is great.
Yeah.
The execution was kind of weird.
Yeah.
It could have used more like time. I think in the movie it was like 20 minutes longer.
Yeah.
They could have like set some more like, because just like everybody was had no dimension. Even the pedophile FBI lady.
Yeah.
Like, because her too, she's just like I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you?
Okay. Well, I think that it's time that we do get into the pedophile FBI agent,
Yeah.
Shay, who is she's acting as a bank teller. And from the jump, this is like, it's just so icky because, as a reminder to the listeners, this kid is 11. And
Yeah.
this woman's probably mid-30s-ish,
Yeah.
maybe.
Probably, yeah.
And so the way that she talks to him is not the way that you talk to a kid.
For sure.
It's the way you talk to a grown adult who you think is kind of hot,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And she's not just like treating him like, oh, you little kid. Dead ass, she's flirting with this kid.
Yeah, the whole when they start like not bartering, what's the word for it? Like negotiating about the age
Yeah.
weight, like cuz she was
Oh
like,
my God.
hit me up in 8 years, and he was like 7.
Yeah.
Or he was like 5 and she was like 7. He's like 6.
6.
And she's
And
like,
that's what they agree
"All
upon.
right."
He's going to be 17 then. He won't even be legal. This kid is 11.
So he's 11? Okay, I was
He's
wondering.
11.
Yeah.
Oh, and I know, you want to know how I know that? Because the description for this movie on Disney Plus is an 11-year-old cashes a blank check for $1 million with wild results.
Interesting.
And it's not true.
Yeah.
The results are wild.
Yeah, because she that negotiating scene, I was like, okay, you gotta relax. Because the kiss already bad.
Right.
Weird, because they like pan away and it comes back. So
Yeah.
she's kissing him for like at least 3 seconds.
At least, yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Like, it's fucking.
when Preston tells his limo driver that he's like got a date with this woman,
Yeah.
and then he's like, oh yeah, so like what should I do? And the limo driver, an adult, instead of saying, oh, like I should report this to somebody, he like gives him dating advice.
Sure.
It struck me that even if he were to report this, like, the call is coming from inside of the house. This woman is in the FBI. She's a cop. Calling the cops or, like, reporting this to someone, that would not do anything.
Yeah.
She's a cop.
I'll say this. Talking about people who understand boundaries properly, Henry the driver, perfect boundary guy. Because literally he's like, oh, you were Macintosh the whole time. I mean, we're not going to work together anymore.
Yeah, we're not friends.
And he's like, you're kind of like a brother to me, but it would be weird for us to keep talking.
Yeah,
so,
it's weird for like a grown-up to just be friends with a little kid.
Yeah. And
see you later.
Because they actually had friendship chemistry. And like,
they did.
I could see him like coming to his birthday party or whatever.
Yeah.
And he recognized like, it'd be weird. But this FBI agent, she's like, not only will this not be weird, I'm going to kiss you.
I'm going to give you a kiss on the mouth.
Because that's why I became an FBI agent.
So I could go on dates with 11-year-olds. With 11-year-olds. Let's see, what else was I gonna say about about Shay, the bank teller? She does like kind of save the day at the end, which I just felt like I was just really disappointed that she got to have a hero moment after being an absolute creep this whole time.
They should have had an alternate ending where they're like, all right, Macintosh, you're under arrest. And then all of a sudden they go, and Shay, you're also under arrest.
And everyone here is under arrest.
And then Preston turns out to be like an undercover, like, cop.
Oh my God, he's like To Catch a Predator. He's actually 25, but he looks like he's 11.
Yeah, he's got like Turners or whatever.
I think that would
Webster's?
Yeah, what is that?
There is
it's like the condition where you like look really young.
Benjamin
right?
Buttons.
Benjamin Button.
Yeah.
It's a real Benjamin Button situation. That would be wild. I love the name Macintosh though. I love that he looks at his computer and says, "That sounds like a rich guy name." I loved that.
Yeah.
And it was such a good scheme the whole time that not only did he fool all these adults, his dad never finds out.
Well,
at the end,
there's the scene where he's turned around in his chair,
right,
and he looks at the reflection. You don't know for sure because like they're not good at telling the story, but his dad might have noticed,
maybe,
and then that's why he starts being like, if you see Preston, let him know.
Right.
His family misses him. We'd love to see him. So
yeah.
I think he does know. But
you
don't
thought
know.
he did? I thought that he didn't. I thought that
I go back and forth.
This man seems like he wasn't that smart, and it didn't occur to him that maybe he should meet the grown-up that's hiring his 11-year-old son. And like he and his wife are both like, yeah, I've never met him.
Well, why would he? I mean, literally, he bought a house without an ID, without any sort of
without anything.
Without anything, yeah. With
a
name,
backpack full of cash.
Yeah, a backpack full of cash, one name, like he's Prince, and just fucking, just got this house.
It's easy. All you have to do is bring a backpack full of cash.
Because Henry literally was like, hey, man, you need money. Because he wasn't even like, hey, I need to see my ID. He's like, all you need is some cash. And he's like that. I'll take it.
Exactly, like that. And everything is good now. I also like how Henry told him, like, all of these little catchphrases that he didn't know what they meant.
Style.
I thought that was so cool. Oh, yeah, the STYLE style. That was cute. He's like, look, a fool and his gold are soon departed. And I don't know what that means, but I believe it.
Say it again?
And then he says, Henry, the limo driver, says to Preston, a fool and his gold are soon departed. And then follows it up with, oh, but I actually don't know what that means.
A fool and his gold are soon departed?
Yeah, and he kind of works it out with himself. Like, he kind of talks it out and is like, oh, maybe it means that if you're a fool, your money won't last very long.
Sure.
And that's when you'll find out who your true friends are. And that sets us up to think, like, oh, Henry's going to be his true friend. But no, Henry's a responsible adult who's like, look, I was acting friendly with you because I was being paid.
Yeah.
Well,
but Preston's life never gets better, too.
No,
that's
he goes. That's the thing.
Yeah.
He goes home to his fucked up family
with trauma now.
Yeah, and they're like, "Oh, happy birthday!" And he's like, "All I need is right here." I'm like, "These people hate you."
Yeah, your dad still hates you. Your dad's gonna start making you pay rent when you turn 16. So you start learning valuable life lessons.
Yeah.
And now, like, there's a old predator woman that's just out there.
She's
like,
out there waiting for you for the next 6 years, so that on your 17th birthday.
Because it's really fucked up. Because, like, imagine him telling, it's like, how's the rest of your night? It's like, well, me and Shay kissed. It's like, who's Shay? It's like, lady who works at the bank.
Yeah.
That turned out to be an FBI agent. And they're like, what?
He'd probably be like, good for you, son, you lucky
actually,
dog.
Him, for sure.
Yeah.
The dad would be like, hell yeah, brother.
You lucky dog.
God.
Oh, God. Okay, let's see what else. Oh, the robot voice that he uses on the phone.
Sure.
Again, it does not matter what happens as long as you have in this movie, as long as you have cash.
Yeah.
You're good. It doesn't matter if you're even a robot.
Well, the movie's pre 9/11.
True.
And I think that's like
a
big part of it. You could do anything before 9/11.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Okay, I love the shopping and activities montage, though.
Same.
So fun. I love, going into a store like a little man.
Was it Canada? Because they went to a Roots store, which is a Canadian clothing brand.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
And so I wasn't sure if like it was.
But they were American dollars, though.
That's what I was also thinking.
Right.
So, or if they just filmed it in Canada.
Could have.
Because it was beautiful when they go to like there's
pretty.
the chase scenes at the park.
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
That's a nice park.
The park is beautiful.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if they filmed it in Canada.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, they do it all the time.
Do you know that guy, that Preston, lives here?
In Denver?
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah, he's in like punk bands and stuff.
And ladies and gentlemen, he's here today.
He's here right now.
That's so sick. He plays in punk bands?
He went to school at CU Boulder.
That's awesome. And if you know him, tell him we said what's up.
Brian Bunsall.
Ryan, shout out. You're a friend of the pod. Did that age well. It's not your fault that they made you kiss a woman who was at least 20 years older than you. I do kind of wonder how he feels about that.
Whenever he blocked me, I can't find it.
Wait, what's his name again?
Oh, I'm spelling it wrong.
Oh, okay. Phew.
I was like,
that would be really. He's
really
like, this guy
heart.
is a little bit too into this
guy
movie.
is way too into blank check.
Yeah. Where did you get that shirt, though?
Some like website, targeted Instagram ad. It knows
that.
me.
Love that.
Wait, what? Okay, apparently Brandon Bunsall is in the Ataris.
Wait. Is his name Brandon or is it Ryan?
Brian. we're gonna record this again.
Yeah.
Brian Bunsall. I got it confused because the guy who is Johnny Tsunami is also, he's in Boulder.
Oh, cool.
And I've talked to him before. He's really nice.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, his name's Brandon, and that's why I got it confused. Brian, Brandon.
A classic child star kind of like white kid name. Was all of this kind of like a ruse for you to have a little bit of an opening to get into this friendship with Brian?
No, I really just like blank check. And you're talking about movies that like whether they hold up or not.
Yeah, for sure.
And I can't think of like a better movie where literally like, because it's literally an older woman kisses a little boy.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not, it doesn't hold up.
No.
Like, you can't do that now.
Yeah, you really can't do that. And actually, it was kind of a part of the public discourse, again, when this movie was briefly on Netflix.
Yeah.
Which I think was like in like the late 2010s.
Sure.
It came back on Netflix, and people were like, oh, wow, I totally forgot about this entire subplot where this woman kisses this child.
Yeah.
And I think that people were kind of like, oh, yucky.
I think because I remember there being like a kiss or whatever, but I don't remember like the scene feeling romantic. I remember it being like, oh, you little squirt, and like a little like peck chick, like cheek kiss, like something like like maternal almost even.
Yeah.
Like that he helped her. Like I didn't realize that he thought he was going on dates with her.
Yeah.
And bought her like expensive jewelry.
Yeah, and said you can take your necklace and leave later.
Then they had a good date where like they're running through the sprinklers and stuff like that too, and I was just like,
if these were two adults, this would be like a really fun date.
Yeah, it's like very rom-com, like manic pixie dream girl vibe.
Absolutely. Where it's like, oh my god, follow me. Yeah. We're in a fountain now. Oh my god.
But it's like manic pixie dream woman.
Yeah.
Like a manic pixie dream adult.
Yes, she is a manic pixie dream grown woman.
Yeah, it was weird. It did read very weird. I remember like I was watching the kids. I was like, dude, what are you guys doing, man?
Oh my god.
But also, you can tell whoever wrote the movie's a pervert based on like just like the overt sexuality the dad has, like just openly in a kids movie. Because here's the thing, sometimes kids movies have like a weird like allusion to like, oh, don't go in the room, they're like, you know,
mom and dad or fucking
wrestling or whatever. And this was like, you know, straight up just like the computer teach you how to do anything except make love to a woman.
Yep.
Which I'm also like, not true.
That's actually not.
Do you not know about porn, or is porn not a thing there yet?
I don't think that dad knows yet that is a thing that you could do. Otherwise, that computer would be in his room.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If he knew about porn, that computer would not be in the kids' room.
Also, just a weird weird punishment or whatever, where he's just like, we got this computer for your brother's business.
Yeah.
But you get to use it. And Preston, and it's in your room.
Right.
Like, I didn't, because they
didn't think about that at all.
The movie tried to spin it as like a poor Preston. He's got a computer in his room. Poor.
He's like they're setting up their business in his room, and they don't know how to use a computer, and he does.
Like poor poverty-stricken family buying a computer for the child and putting it in his bedroom. Poor him.
Yeah, poor him.
I don't know.
And where did he learn all of this stuff about like interest rates and like closing costs on houses and like all of this stuff that when I watched this movie as a kid, I didn't know what was going on. Anytime that they talked about like financial stuff, I was like, I don't know.
I still don't. I'm 33 years old, and they're like, anytime they talk about money stuff, I'm like, God, did I file my taxes correctly? Like, am I gonna go to jail? Like, I have no idea.
How much money does fit into a suitcase?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
I truly, like, watching that movie, I was just like, I should hide money in my mattress.
Absolutely.
Like,
yeah.
And then like the bank too. It's like, because he went in trying to deposit $11 to try to accrue interest or whatever.
Yeah.
And she's like, come back when you have $200.
Yeah.
And then he does, later she sees him in a limo.
Yeah.
She never really gets red flags for him until later, which is also weird.
Very weird. She's very not good at her job.
No,
she's really not good at her job. And you know what? It's not her fault as a character. It is the way that the pervert who wrote this movie, wrote her.
Yeah.
But yeah, she keeps being like, I really got to meet this Macintosh guy. Who is Macintosh? This is some sort of angle to get into catching these other bad guys. But she never really, it's really hard to tell, is she clued into the fact that Macintosh is not real? Or is she just trying to, get Preston to admit that he is Macintosh?
I think she thinks Macintosh is real.
I think so too.
And then later on, because that was the other thing too.
Yeah.
Was they had a real I'm Macintosh, Spartacus moment.
That was funny.
Where he's like, I'm Macintosh, and then they just arrested him.
Right.
Which also is none of them realized, no one was looking for this guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. It feels like he just escaped prison and then it's that was it. Was able to buy property or try to buy property and just live his life in the town that he just escaped prison from.
Because you can just live your entire life using only cash to buy things.
Sure. It's just interesting because he didn't go anywhere else. He just that'd be like if I was in Denver County Jail.
Yeah. And
I break out and I'm like, I'm gonna buy an apartment here.
and just with cash.
Set up my whole life here, and it's just I guess it's the last place they would look.
I guess right under your nose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Is again I can't suspend disbelief now because I'm an adult. When I was a kid, I didn't think about it, but now as an adult, I'm just like, wait, what?
Wait, what?
Yeah.
He didn't skip town, go to a foreign country.
And why did they take Juice to jail? He didn't really do anything.
I know, honestly, he was just kind of there, a little comic relief.
Sure.
Kind of the.
Oh wait, no, he hung that kid off the side of the building.
Oh yeah, that was a bad.
But they don't
move.
even know that.
That's true.
I wonder what happened to that kid.
Oh my God, nothing good.
Yeah, because they kicked the door down and they had the kid. They're like,
I know.
Is this the house? And they're like, yeah. Which they could have asked him that outside.
They could have.
Before they kicked the door down
but
and brought him inside.
They could not wait to kick that door down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like that kid's such a little shit that they're like, you're such a little shit that no one will believe you.
Yeah.
Snitching on a crime.
Totally. They're and everyone hates a rat.
True.
Honestly. So. So yeah, his life, that little redhead kid, his life is ruined for sure. He will not be okay. And
he probably behaved a little bit after that.
You know what? He probably
he
probably really kept to himself after that.
Yeah.
He had a head full of secrets and trauma, and he said, I'm not squeaking.
Yeah.
Yeah, because now he knows what happens when you're a rat. When you're a rat, it gets really bad really quickly. So, you know. But I did wonder why, if this child, Preston, is so smart, why didn't he hire an actor to play Macintosh?
I know. He had
at the party.
Budget. Yeah, literally,
I know.
yeah.
And
or pay Henry to do it.
Oh, yeah.
You know, he had, like, many options.
Totally. At this point, you know, like, people were not using the internet really in this movie. Like, he was using it to calculate interest rates, but he wasn't actually using it to gather information about people.
Yeah.
So it's clear that nobody in this movie, like, did any kind of search of Macintosh and his history. So it would have been really easy to hire anybody, because if it was like an actor that nobody knew,
sure,
you know, no one's gonna be like, oh, I know his IMDb credits.
I don't know how he bought the house online. Like, I don't know how they were just like,
yeah,
okay, just come get the keys. Like, we'll leave it under the mat. Like, come grab it whenever you want.
Just like drop off the bag of money, put it in the mail.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I guess cash really was king back then.
Yeah, it really was.
Because now it's like, if someone gives me cash now, I'm like, what do you want me to do with this?
I know.
Now I have to go to the bank and fucking deposit this. Like, I just, I have, like, a stack of just comedy cash.
Yeah.
From, like, the last year of shows just on my desk.
That's not good.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't know what to do with this.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I'll, like, I don't know what I would even buy, because now, like, weed's legal. If I were to do drugs again, that would be the drug I would do.
Of course.
And I could just buy that at a store.
Yeah, you can just go to the normal store.
Even drug dealers, I'm pretty sure, take, like, Venmo now, probably.
Of course, yeah. You just send them a little snowflake or whatever.
Yeah. Even drug dealers are probably like, what am I going to do with this cash?
Right, yeah, truly.
Oh, unless you're doing, like, snorting coke through them.
That's true, yeah. Actually. There is still use for cash.
Yeah. Snorting coke.
When I have cash, though, I do feel like it's fake money, and that is kind of fun. Like, when I spend cash, it doesn't feel like I'm actually spending money. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not traceable, so it's like it never happened.
Like, that comedy money, if I buy, like, it's not, like, a lot. It's, like, a couple, like, $300 or something.
Yeah, for sure. Which is why everyone should come to his shows, okay?
Yeah. And if I use that money, I'll be like, whatever. Who cares?
Yeah.
It is nothing.
Totally. You wouldn't be like, oh, my God, I just spent, like, $200 on another piece of blank check merch.
Yeah.
You'd be like, it all evens out.
Also, the bike that he bought himself wasn't that nice.
No, it was
And then
not.
also, I don't know how he lost the bike. He still had it.
Yeah.
I don't know why his parents. What happened to all of his stuff? Why did
what
he have
happened
to
to
keep
all
any
the
of
stuff?
it?
Like, what do they do when, like, they have, like, an auction? The cops, don't they have an auction if people, like, get arrested for money
like,
laundering
repossessed.
like repossessed, and then but can you imagine if, like, a mini go-kart racetrack was repossessed? Who's gonna buy that?
I don't know. I mean, that's the thing.
funny.
A lot of this, they did a good job of, like, showing wealth back then.
Yeah.
Like, in the sense of, like, he had, like, a virtual reality headset.
Yeah.
He had, like, arcade machines.
Yeah.
I wish they showed, like, some of the other rooms.
Me
you
too.
You really only get to see that big-ass room that has all the toys in it.
Yeah.
And, I guess he's not sleeping there.
Oh, yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess I didn't think about that. But I did really want to see, like, the Architectural Digest, like, tour of the house, you know?
Hey, I'm Macintosh, wink, wink, and here's my house. And, then,
welcome to my crib.
Yeah.
And this is where the magic happens with a 30-year-old woman. Sorry to joke about it, everybody. This podcast will not age well.
Yeah, we also, I guess we should, like, we don't agree with what happened.
We don't. We don't endorse it. We don't agree with it. We don't want to see it happen ever again in a movie.
Yeah, you definitely.
Or in real life.
You couldn't do a reboot of this movie, or at least I guess you could just leave out that part.
Yeah, and honestly, that would make a lot more time for them to sort of flesh out all of the other things that they should have fleshed out.
Yeah.
You know, like, they could have given us a lot more background on, really everything and everyone if they had just cut out that entire.
No depth.
that scene of their date was long.
Yeah.
They could have used that, like, I don't know, 5-10 minutes at least.
They were building up to the kiss more than anything.
Honestly.
Like.
Yeah, they were not building up to those men getting arrested. They were building up to, maybe honestly, the Shay thing is the A-plot in this movie.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I agree. It's very, yeah. I think also explaining why the dad is so weird about money.
Yeah.
Even like a lazy, like, when I was a kid, my dad made me work all the time. And then you're like, oh,
Right.
he's just transferring trauma.
Right.
And
It's a real,
that's
I'm
fine.
tired of digging, Grandpa.
Yeah.
Well, that's just too damn bad. Like, that kind of thing I think could really apply here.
100%.
You know? Yeah. And it's like, well, that's why he hates his one son. Because maybe, you know what could be cool is that maybe the dad is the youngest child.
Sure.
And he's like, oh, well, you know.
That's what you do.
Because I was bullied as the youngest child, and look, I turned out so well. That's what you should do to the youngest child so that they develop character. See? Look at us. We could maybe we can make the reboot.
I'll do it. Disney, hit me up.
Hit us up.
Brian, you can play my dad.
Yeah, BK's living in LA now,
Yeah.
so he's really easy to reach if you are Disney. So, you know. What else? What else did we think about this movie that we haven't had a chance to discuss yet?
I think that's all I have.
I mean, the fits were pretty fun.
The fits
I
were
really
really
liked
good.
the little suits were very cute.
Preston has really good style.
He has STYLE style.
He does have STYLE.
He really does. I really loved his suit at the party, that white suit
with like the art vest.
Yeah, I thought that was so, I don't know. I thought that it was very cool, especially for a kid. I like when kids, like the trope in movies where like kids act like little adults.
Yeah.
I think it's really cute, and I really liked how his outfits told that story.
I agree.
You know? I thought that was fun.
100%. He's
Yeah.
like a little man.
He is a little man.
Yeah.
And he, honestly, I mean, he's smarter than all those other grown men.
Sure.
So, you know, but he's still a child, which is why you can't kiss him if you are a grown-up.
100%.
100%. Well, BK, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yeah.
Where do you want people to follow and find you on the
Thanks
internet?
for having me.
You're welcome.
Instagram, Insane Brown Posse. I'll pretty much post all my shit there.
Cool. Sounds good. And if you're a child star, slide into his DMs. If you're a grown-up who was a child star, let me be clear.
Like, yeah, be an adult, be a child star in the past.
When I was be grown.
Child.
Be our age and
be above 30. We have to fucking okay. All right. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.